Robert Deutsch. From the very start of the season, Knicks fans were eyeing the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. And that is exactly what the team could be looking at, holding the worst record in the NBA by 2.5 games with only a few to go. But, of course, the NBA draft lottery only allows a 14% chance for New York to get that first selection. The second and third worst teams in the league also have the same percentage to land the pick that would more likely than not be spent on Duke's freshman sensation Zion Williamson. The only perk for landing the league's worst record is not falling further than no. 5. When the ping-pong balls are chosen, that worst-case scenario for the Knicks is nightmare fuel for fans, but what about falling into the second or third slot after the lottery? Would it be that much of a loss for the franchise? Now, hear me out, the #1 overall pick is ideal and fans should pray to the basketball gods over and over for it. Williamson is as NBA ready as prospects come, and he would be a great fit to the Knicks system while bringing massive amounts of hype back to the Garden. But, after watching the performance Ja Morant put on in his NCAA tournament debut, I wouldn't feel too deflated about moving slightly back in the draft. Morant lived up to the hype against a good 5th-seeded Marquette squad in the tourney's opening day with a triple-double. He willed his Murray State team to an 83-64 statement win with 17 points, 16 assists, and 11 rebounds in 39 minutes on the hardwood. And in doing so, Morant showed those who haven't been watching him all season that he is the top 5 talent experts have been projecting him to be. At the moment, the 6'3" guard is projected as the #2 overall pick, according to Tankathon. So, if the Knicks were to miss out on Williamson with that first pick, drafting Morant wouldn't be a major fall-off in talent. He's being compared to Russell Westbrook, and he fit the bill perfectly with the triple-double magic and high-flying athleticism Thursday night. And even if you aren't sold on Morant or his potential fit in the Knicks lineup, another Duke freshman in RJ Barrett could be there at 2 or 3 as well. Barrett may take a backseat to Williamson, but he isn't quietly averaging 23.6 points, 7.8 rebounds and 4.2 assists heading into the Blue Devils' first tourney matchup on Friday night. His ability to score anywhere on the floor as well as seeing the floor in the passing game has been on display all season, especially when Williamson went down with his knee injury. Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski has praised Barrett's NBA readiness since the start of the season, and his stamp of approval should go without saying in the basketball community. Being a natural 2 guard, Barrett would fit in the Knicks scheme perfectly, especially if they were to land Kyrie Irving or another top point guard in free agency. In fact, shouldn't free agency be more important for Knicks fans? The front office will have 2 max slots to work with, and the established players they hopefully land will be the main cogs leading the way to a playoff contender right away, not necessarily the rookie learning the NBA game in his first season. Landing the Irving-Kevin Durant combo would be much more of a win than seeing Williamson don a Knicks snapback on draft night. If you don't believe me now, watch Morant back on the court Friday against a tougher team in Florida State. He already promised, "I'm not done yet," on Instagram. And Barrett will have much more basketball in store for him unless a major upset happens. Just know the #1 overall pick isn't the end of the world if it doesn't have the Knicks name next to it on June 20th. February 14, 2019, Clarksville, Tennessee, USA, Murray State Racers guard Ja Morant, 12, shoots against the Austin Peay Governors during the first half at the Winfield Dunn Center. Mandatory credit, Brian Spurlock. USA Today Sports. Brian Spurlock. Ja Morant has been considered a potential top 3 pick in this year's draft, and many project him going as high as the #2 pick overall, with Duke phenom Zion Williamson regarded as the undisputed #1 pick. Well, undisputed to everyone except Morant's father, following Morant's 17-point, 16-assist, 11-rebound triple-double performance in Murray State's 83-64 upset win over Marquette on Thursday. Morant's father, T, was asked by Bleacher Report when his son should be taken in the NBA draft. February 3, 2019, New York, USA, New York Knicks guard Dennis Smith Jr. 5 controls the ball against the Memphis Grizzlies during the third quarter at Madison Square Garden. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner, Dennis Smith Jr. certainly likes the looks of the top free agents in Knicks uniforms. The 21-year-old point guard appeared on Bleacher Report's House of Highlights show on Thursday and was shown a photoshopped picture of himself alongside Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving and Duke star Zion Williamson, all in Knicks uniforms. Smith was giddy looking at the photo and used it to make his recruiting pitch to Durant and Irving. Robert Deutsch, with a chance to perform on a national stage. Ja Morant didn't disappoint. Knicks fans are focusing their hope on the ping-pong balls going their way to get the #1 pick in this year's NBA draft, the ticket to drafting Duke's Zion Williamson. But Durant has been boosting his resume all year, and more people will be talking about the guard after he put up a triple-double Thursday to lead No.12 Murray State in an 83-64 upset victory over No.5 Marquette in the first round of the NCAA tournament. January 25, 2019, Brooklyn, NY, USA. New York Knicks center Mitchell Robinson, 26, blocks a shot by Brooklyn Nets point guard Shabazz Napier, 13, during the third quarter at Barclays Center. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. In a night where the Knicks lost to the Jazz by 21 points, there isn't much good that came out of it. But Mitchell Robinson, who has been one positive out of a dismal season, made history on Wednesday night, in a double-double performance, 14 points, 12 rebounds. Robinson also collected 3 blocks as his rim protecting continues to be on display. And with them, Robinson recorded his 29th straight game with a block, breaking Knicks legend Patrick Ewing's franchise rookie record. Oh, that's not all. Those 3 blocks moved Robinson's season total to 135, which also breaks Kristaps Porzingis' record for most blocks in a rookie season. While it's great to see the second-rounder rewriting the Knicks record books, it isn't the ultimate goal for Robinson. New York Knicks guard Jimmer Fredette drives to the basket past Portland Trailblazers guard Brian Roberts during the second half at Madison Square Garden. Hunger, USA Today Sports Images. Former Knicks guard Jimmer Fredette is back in the NBA. Fredette signed a 2-year deal with the Phoenix Suns, according to The Athletic's Shams Charania. The 30-year-old Fredette last played in the NBA in the 2015-16 season, appearing in 2 games with the Knicks and spending most of that season with their G League affiliate in Westchester. Fizdale honest after brutal loss. 0 hours 0 minutes and 30 seconds. The Knicks lost 137-116 to the Jazz at home on Wednesday. It could have been worse, if it weren't for better play by NY in the second half. The Knicks couldn't handle the Jazz on Wednesday night, losing 137-116 at Madison Square Garden for their second consecutive loss. Greater than box score. Things to know about Wednesday's game. 1. The Knicks upped themselves in an early rut, as the score was 39-35 at the end of the first quarter. When both teams went to the locker room, it was 74-47, which proved to be an insurmountable deficit in the end. Andy Marlin: I've seen a lot of growth, really in all areas. Maybe the most important area is as a team leader. That said, the point guard is always going to have the most complex job of ball distribution, mixing in an aggressive attack to score and set up playmaking opportunities. There's real nuance to all that stuff. But he's smart. He wants it, and I've really loved how he's played. He gets a little better every day. Those were the words of Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle at the beginning of the season about his then starting point guard, Dennis Smith Jr. A lot has happened since then: uneven play from Smith, some immaturity, and the emergence of a rookie named Luka Doncic. Fast forward to today and Smith is now a member of the Knicks, on a completely gutted roster, or a young rebuilding one, at least, looking to find stable footing and develop into the player many thought he could be when Dallas selected him No.9 overall in the 2017 draft. March 4, 2019, Sacramento, California, USA. New York Knicks guard Dennis Smith Jr. 5 walks off the court during the third quarter against the Sacramento Kings at Golden One Center. Mandatory credit, Sergio Estrada. USA Today Sports, Sergio Estrada. The Jazz come to Madison Square Garden to face the Knicks tonight, but New York will be without a few key contributors in this one. The most notable is PG Dennis Smith Jr., who head coach David Fizdale said threw out his back. The team is expecting to re-evaluate him next week as he will likely miss at least 3 more games. The Knicks could deem Smith done for the season if the evaluation says so, and that isn't the only guard the Knicks will be without. Alonzo Trier has a calf injury that will keep him out, while Frank Ntilikina isn't quite ready to return from his groin injury. Ntilikina practiced with G League Westchester on Tuesday, but he is expected to practice once again and be ready to make his awaited return this weekend, December 19, 2018, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. New York Knicks guard Frank Ntilikina, 11, drives to the basket against Philadelphia 76ers guard Jimmy Butler, 23, during the second quarter at Wells Fargo Center. Mandatory credit, Bill Stryker. USA Today Sports. Bill Stryker, Knicks PG Frank Ntilikina has finally been cleared to practice, and it couldn't have came at a better time, according to the Daily News. Stephen Bondi, the 20-year-old former first-rounder, will be practicing with G League Westchester on Tuesday as the Knicks are traveling back from Toronto following a 128-92 blowout on Monday night. Ntilikina has been sidelined for weeks with a groin injury, but if everything goes well at practice, he could be suiting up against the Jazz at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday night. That would be the best-case scenario for Ntilikina, who needs these last 11 games of the season to prove he is still worth it to the Knicks. It doesn't look good for Ntilikina to stay in orange and blue next season, especially with new point guard Dennis Smith Jr. coming over from Dallas in the Kristaps Porzingis trade. The Knicks also have Alonzo Trier, Emmanuel Mudiay and Damian Dawson all under contract for 2019. March 18, 2019, Toronto, Ontario, Can. Toronto Raptors guard Kyle Lowry, 7, battles for a loose ball with New York Knicks center Mitchell Robinson, 26, in the second half at Scotiabank Arena. Mandatory credit, Dan Hamilton. USA Today Sports. Dan Hamilton, while making a play on the ball in the third quarter Monday night after the Raptors' Kyle Lowry secured the rebound, Knicks rookie Mitchell Robinson wound up falling on Lowry's ankle. Lowry left the game and didn't return, and wasn't happy about it after. "I think it was a little bit dirty," Lowry said, according to TSN's Josh Lewenberg. "He grabbed me, pulled me down. He's a young kid, so I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but I think he'll learn his lesson next time and be a little bit more careful," Robinson responded on Twitter. Duke Blue Devils forward Zion Williamson and forward R.J. Barrett reacts after a basket by Williamson during the first half against the Syracuse Orange at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Rob Kinnan, USA Today Sports. The NCAA tournament bracket is set and March Madness officially begins Tuesday night. For Knicks fans, this means a chance to watch some of their potential future contributors compete on the biggest stage of college basketball. Here are the names to keep an eye on as we edge closer to one of the most important off-seasons in New York hoops history. The core four. The general consensus seems to have circled around the following 4 players as the top 4 selections in this year's NBA draft: Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish. Fans should be plenty aware of their names at this point, but if not, all outside of Morant are playing for no. 1-seed Duke, while Morant will get an opportunity to turn heads coming into the tournament with 12-seeded Murray State. There isn't much convincing left to do with these names. They're clearly a tier above the other prospects, with Williamson of course having all but locked up the top selection. Knicks fans hope they see one of them in blue and orange next season. New York Knicks guard Alonzo Trier tries to drive against Toronto Raptors center Marc Gasol and guards Fred VanVleet and Jeremy Lin in the first half at Scotiabank Arena. Dan Hamilton, USA Today Sports. The Knicks shot 33.3% from the field and made just 8 of 36 three-pointers as they lost the Toronto Raptors 128-92 on Monday at Scotiabank Arena. greater than box score things to know about Monday's Game 1. While Alonzo Trier scored a game-high 22 points off the bench, the Knicks starters combined for 44 points. Mario Hezonja and Kevin Knox combined to make 7 of 24 field goals. 2. The Raptors, who beat the Knicks by only 5 points when they last met on Feb. 9, outscored them 35-25 in the second quarter and 28-15 in the third, taking a 101-69 lead into the fourth quarter. New York Knicks forward Kevin Knox puts up a shot in the fourth quarter against the Los Angeles Lakers at Madison Square Garden. Wendell Cruz, USA Today Sports. Knicks head coach David Fizdale wanted to orchestrate a meeting between budding star Kevin Knox and one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron James. He was able to do so after Sunday's win over the Lakers. Knox said he received some guidance and reassurance from James when he met with him after New York beat Los Angeles 124-123 on Sunday at Madison Square Garden. New York Knicks forward Mario Hezonja goes up for an alley-oop dunk in the first quarter against the Los Angeles Lakers at Madison Square Garden. Wendell Cruz, USA Today Sports. The New York Knicks scored a dramatic 124-123 win over LeBron James and the visiting Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday, which shows that there can be highlights even in the most dismal of seasons. The Knicks, who have the worst record in the league at 14-56, will try to improve on that rare success Monday night when they visit the Toronto Raptors, the NBA's second-best team, at 49-21. The Raptors, who easily handled the Lakers on Thursday night, are coming off a 110-107 loss on the road to the Detroit Pistons on Sunday. March 17, 2019, New York, USA. New York Knicks forward Mario Hezonja, 8 blocks. Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James, 23, shot at the buzzer in the Knicks' 124-123 victory at Madison Square Garden. Mandatory credit, Wendell Cruz, USA Today Sports. Wendell Cruz, with the game on the line, the Lakers put the ball in LeBron James' hands, and Knicks forward Mario Hezonja stopped him. Hezonja blocked James's 13-foot driving shot with 2.3 seconds left to seal the Knicks' 124-123 win over Los Angeles on Sunday at Madison Square Garden. November 24, 2017, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. New York Knicks color commentator and former player Walt Frazier broadcasts prior to a game between the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks at Phillips Arena. Mandatory credit, Brett Davis, USA Today Sports. Brett Davis, LeBron James got himself a new public dissenter Sunday during the Knicks' 128-127 dramatic victory over the Lakers at Madison Square Garden. Knicks legend and MSG color commentator Walt Clyde Frazier, the gregarious analyst, began his tear into James during a timeout in which the superstar was not congregating with teammates and plopped himself on the far end of the bench. This type of behavior is not when you're the face of the NBA. I think you should be more a part of your team, folks, Frazier said. No matter what is going on in the public, you got to be a part of the team. Maybe in the locker room you're not, but you have to exude that type of togetherness in public, folks. And right now we see he doesn't really care. New York Knicks guard Emmanuel Mudiay, forward Mario Hezonja and center DeAndre Jordan celebrate the Knicks' 124-123 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers at Madison Square Garden. Wendell Cruz, USA Today Sports. The Knicks and Lakers both entered Sunday's game stumbling toward the finish line, but it was New York that snapped its 8-game losing streak in dramatic fashion, closing the game on a 13-1 run for a 124-123 come-from-behind win over LeBron James and the Lakers. Greater than box score things to know about Sunday's Game 1. Mario Hezonja was the unlikely hero for the Knicks. As the final seconds ticked off the clock, James drove to the basket on Hezonja, but the 24-year-old guard stayed with him and stuffed him from getting the final shot off to secure the victory for the Knicks. Photo courtesy of Daniel Stein. Happy St. Patrick's Day, James Dolan. The Knicks returned home from a road trip on Sunday and fans were ready to send a message to their iron-fisted owner a week after he banned a fan from Madison Square Garden for yelling at him to sell the team green shirts that read "Street." Petty says bandolan were being given to fans outside of the arena before the game against the Lakers, December 23, 2018, Los Angeles, California, USA. Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James, 23, moves the ball up the court during the third quarter against the Memphis Grizzlies at Staples Center. Mandatory credit, Kelvin Kuo. USA Today Sports. Kelvin Kuo. LeBron James is expected to accompany the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday afternoon when the club plays the fourth contest of its five-game road trip against the New York Knicks. Whether the four-time NBA Most Valuable Player will be wearing a Lakers uniform or an expensive suit remains to be seen. James sat out Los Angeles' 111-97 setback at Detroit on Friday due to what the team referred to as load management, connected to the groin injury that sidelined him for a month earlier this season. The Lakers were playing the second half of a back-to-back set, with James logging nearly 32 minutes in the club's 111-98 loss to Toronto on Thursday. March 16, 2019, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Duke Blue Devils forward Zion Williamson, 1, blocks the shot of Florida State Seminoles forward Raekwon Gray, 1, in the first half in the ACC Conference Tournament at Spectrum Center. Mandatory credit, Jeremy Brevard. USA Today Sports. Jeremy Brevard. Upon returning Thursday from a 3-week absence after suffering a knee sprain, Zion Williamson said he could have returned earlier but the Duke staff wanted to make sure he was in tip-top shape. The move clearly paid off. Playing for the third consecutive day, Williamson had another strong performance in leading Duke to a 73-63 win over Florida State to capture the ACC tournament crown. Williamson scored a game-high 21 points on 7 for 11 shooting, adding 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks and a steal in 40 minutes. He made 7 of 10 free throws. March 15, 2019, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Duke Blue Devils forward Zion Williamson, 1, pulls a rebound away from North Carolina Tar Heels forward Luke May, 32, in the first half in the ACC Conference Tournament at Spectrum Center. Mandatory credit, Jeremy Brevard. USA Today Sports. Jeremy Brevard. On the same night the Knicks kept their tank rolling with an 8th straight loss, Zion Williamson dazzled once again. In his second game back from a knee sprain, Williamson scored 31 points and made the game-winning basket with 31 seconds left to lift Duke to a 74-73 win over rival North Carolina, putting the Blue Devils in the ACC tournament final. Williamson sunk a putback off his own missed shot to give Duke the lead. March 15, 2019, San Antonio, Texas, USA. New York Knicks small forward Lance Thomas, 42, dunks over San Antonio Spurs center Jakob Poeltl, right, during the first half at it. Mandatory credit, Subamime. USA Today Sports. Subamime. The Knicks finished their 3-game road trip with yet another loss, falling to the Spurs, 109-83. They've lost 8 straight and own an NBA worst 13-56 record. Greater than box score. Things to know about Friday's Game 1. Noah Vonleh suffered a right ankle injury in the middle of the second quarter and was ruled out for the rest of the game. He had 4 points and an assist in 8:44 of action. The Knicks entered the game without Dennis Smith Jr., who was out with a back injury. March 10, 2019, Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. New York Knicks head coach David Fizdale looks on during the second half against the Minnesota Timberwolves at Target Center. Mandatory credit, Jesse Johnson. USA Today Sports. Jesse Johnson. The Knicks 13-55 head to South Texas on the heels of 103-98 loss at Indiana on Tuesday. New York has dropped 7 consecutive games since beating San Antonio in Orlando for a modest 2-game win streak late last month. Emmanuel Mudiay led the Knicks with 21 points off the bench in the loss, with Damian Dotson scoring 18, Kevin Knox adding 16 points and DeAndre Jordan hitting for 12 points and grabbing 16 rebounds. "We fought the whole game and made some good runs. They made a run, but we didn't give up," Knox said. They just made some plays late. March 9, 2019, New York, USA. New York Knicks point guard Dennis Smith Jr. 5 controls the ball against Sacramento Kings point guard De'Aaron Fox 5 during the fourth quarter at Madison Square Garden. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. The Knicks will be without Dennis Smith Jr. for Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. The 21-year-old point guard was added to the injury report on Thursday with a sore lower back, but there is no indication that the injury is serious. Emmanuel Mudiay is expected to get the start at point guard in place of Smith, while Kadeem Allen was recalled from the G League to join the team in San Antonio. March 14, 2019, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Duke Blue Devils forward Zion Williamson, 1, reacts after a dunk in the first half against the Syracuse Orange in the ACC Conference Tournament at Spectrum Center. Mandatory credit, Jeremy Brevard. USA Today Sports. Jeremy Brevard. After missing 3 weeks with a knee sprain, Zion Williamson made an emphatic return to Duke's lineup on Thursday night. The potential No. 1 pick in the NBA draft looked like he hadn't missed a beat, scoring 29 points and going a perfect 13 for 13 from the field in Duke's 84-72 win over Syracuse in the ACC tournament quarterfinals. "I come ready to kill every game," Williamson said in an ESPN television interview after the game. Porzingis says he's ready. 0 hours 0 minutes and 33 seconds. Dallas Mavericks big man Kristaps Porzingis looks to be very mobile on the practice court and is ready to go up against some competition. It has nearly been a month since the Knicks traded Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavericks in the biggest blockbuster deal of the NBA trade deadline. And though Porzingis hasn't talked about the whole situation yet, he did talk about wanting to get back on the court. The 7'3" Latvian is still working his way back to game action, and he has been seen down in Dallas working on his jumper and post moves with trainers as his rehab continues. Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle has said that Porzingis won't be suiting up as the regular season comes to a close, but that doesn't mean the All-Star doesn't think he is ready to go. "I feel healthy, I feel great," Porzingis said at Mavericks practice on Wednesday. "I'm antsy to get back on the court as soon as possible and I know I'm ready. So we'll see, I don't know." March 2, 2019, Dallas, Texas, USA. Dallas Mavericks forward Kristaps Porzingis, 6, looks on from the bench during the game against the Memphis Grizzlies at the American Airlines Center. Mandatory credit, Andrew Diab. USA Today Sports. Andrew Diab. On the same day Knicks owner James Dolan stumbled through a radio interview, Kristaps Porzingis threw some shade at his former club. During a television interview Tuesday night with TNT, Porzingis, who was traded to the Dallas on Jan. 31, praised the Mavericks organization and painted it as a more stable environment than the one he had been in with the Knicks. "There's a culture. You can feel that," Porzingis said. "Guys like Dirk Nowitzki, like JJ Barea, they've built that culture and they're a really important part of this organization. Just seeing all those great personalities being in this organization, being a part of this culture, makes me want to be a part of it." Adam Hunger. James Dolan still can't get out of his own way, as he proved once again during a radio interview on Tuesday, and it begs the question, why would any marquee free agent would want to join the Knicks and play for this man? Dolan couldn't get LeBron James or Dwayne Wade in 2010, and he's the same man in 2019 as he was then. "He's and always will be the reason they don't get free agents," a longtime NBA executive told Sports Illustrated's Chris Mannix. February 8, 2017, New York, USA. New York Knicks owner James Dolan watches during the fourth quarter between the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers at Madison Square Garden. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. Knicks owner James Dolan joined ESPN's The Michael Kay Show on Tuesday to clarify the situation that occurred on Saturday night where a Knicks fan yelled, "Sell the team," toward Dolan, who decided to throw the fan out of Madison Square Garden for good, and that is exactly what will happen to this fan after Dolan found out the confrontation was premeditated. It appears that